Kevin here from DIYDork.com. Today I want to show you how to build a round birdhouse using some old license plates and some reclaimed plywood. So check this out. This is a really simple project. Alright, so here's what I'm going to use to build the birdhouse. I just have a leftover piece of 3/4 inch plywood. It's kind of a random leftover piece from when we were doing the subfloors in our house during the renovation. Also, I have some license plates. Now, I actually found my license plates on Craigslist. I put a wanted ad on there. Someone replied, "Hey, I've got a milk crate full of these things I've been collecting. I'll sell them to you for 30 bucks. I thought, 30 bucks, whatever, I'll do it. So I bought them, and there was like, I don't know, 45 plates or something in there. So it's actually pretty cheap. And each birdhouse, I mean, you could sell for 5, 10, 15 bucks. So it pays for itself pretty quick. But they're mostly Missouri plates, some old ones from like the 80s and 90s, the black plates, maroon plates. But there's also a few others in there. We got some blue and a pretty cool one here, green and yellow. And then there was also like a Ohio plate or something in there. Anyway, any plate will work. And in case you're wondering what size plates are, they are 6 by 12. And that'll come in handy here in just a minute. But anyway, this is actually a really simple one to build. So first thing I'm going to do is cut down my plywood pieces. Alright, so what I want to do is cut up my plywood to make 2 7-inch circles. And I found the easiest way to do that is to actually draw a square first. So I'm going to take my regular carpenter square and I'll make a little tick mark at 7 inches on that side, 7 inches on this side. I'll trace it out. Then I can just take and flip the square over and draw these sides as well. Once I have my square, then I can take it and use it as a straight edge to go from corner to corner both ways, and where they cross would be the center point. Then I can use that center point with my compass and draw a perfect 7-inch circle. All right. The other cool thing is that the lines that cross will help me lay out where I want to put the hole, the little doorway, I guess you could call it, and then also the perch. So I'll do all that next. Alright, so now that's cut out, I can actually use the cross marks. I'll show you where I drew them on there. First thing I'm going to do is measure up from the center up 1 inch, make a cross mark right there. And I'll do the same thing down below, 1 inch cross mark there. So what I'm going to do is the hole, the little doorway for the birdhouse, I'm going to use a 2-inch hole saw. So since it has that little drill bit as a starter hole, I can line that up to the 1 inch mark, and when it drills, the bottom of the hole will be right at the center line, okay? Then for my perch, I'm just using a little piece of 1/4 inch dowel rod that I'll cut to, I don't know, 2 inches or so, and I'll drill a little 1/4 inch hole down at that bottom line, and then be able to glue that in as well. So I'll do that next, and just get it kind of prepped, and then I'll show you how to paint it. Alright, and check it out, there we go. 1/4 inch dowel fits real nice, and the hole turned out pretty well. Now one more thing I'm doing is I'm using the cross marks. I'm going to use the top and the bottom one. I'm also going to do it to the back piece here, and I'm going to take a marker and just draw a line on both the top and the bottom. That way when I paint this, I still know where dead center is, because you kind of need to know that whenever we start wrapping it with the license plates. So I'll go ahead and paint it real quick, and then I'll show you how to put the top and bottom on with the license plates. Alright, so now that both the front and the back are painted, and I did a little distressing to them just to make them look a little older, it's time to get the plates ready to go. So I decided to use this one on top, and what I need to do is drill a hole right through the center so that I can fit this little 2-inch eye bolt hook. And it's a 1/4 inch, so I'm just going to use a 1/4 inch bit to drill through center. Now to find center, it's very similar to how I did it earlier. I'll just use a straight edge from corner to corner, and it looks like it's about roughly 13 inches, so we'll call it a little line there. I'm doing this way as well, and it looks like that's probably pretty much center. So I'll drill a hole in there real quick, and then before I pop this in, we need to actually kind of mold these to get them ready to mount to the wood. All right, now the license plate is actually going to be centered right on top of the little wood pieces, and then they're going to bow around and be screwed down. But it's a little hard to kind of fold it this way, and sometimes it kinks. So I found it's easier just to take an old paint can and bend them this way, just to get it kind of pre-started. Now, it may not be perfectly round, but as long as you're getting it going, I think it should be okay. So you can kind of see, I mean, it's still not perfectly round, but it'll be pretty close. So that's a nice little start, and should make it a lot easier to actually wrap it around the little wood pieces. Now, one thing I just remembered to do was to find center of the top here. Now, it's a lot easier before you fold it, so all you have to do, if you remember earlier I showed you it's 12 inches, you can just take a tape measure and mark it right at the 6 on both sides here. And then you know exactly where center is, because we're going to line those tick marks up with the lines that I had you draw earlier on top and bottom of the little wood pieces. So we'll start mounting them next. All right, so now it's time to mount the plate to the wood block. So what I'm gonna do is turn it upside down. All right, make sure I can see that line on there. And then I'm also going to line it up to the little tick marks that you can see here. So basically what's gonna happen is you're gonna do that number, okay? Except it's a little easier to do it on a flat surface like the table. All right, so you line it up like that. And then what I'm gonna do is drill with this little skinny 1/8 inch drill bit, so that I can mount these little screws right here. All right, and they are sheet metal screws. They are number 10 by 1/2 inch. Should hold it nice and tight. And one thing I found is it's kind of tricky to get the first one started. So if you want, you can actually just drill it over a block like this. So let me just do it real quick. All right, I'll do it to the top as well. All right, now what you should be able to do is line it up again, like I showed you earlier, and then just drive the screw in there, and then flip it all upside down and do it to the back piece as well, so that the both pieces of wood are mounted with just one screw each. All right, so then once those two are in, I just took my hands and I formed it really nice, and I put 2 more screws on each side in the existing license plate holes to hold it in. But if you notice, I did not do the ends yet, and they kind of stick out. That's because when the top one goes on, it's going to actually overlap just a little bit. So when I'll put a screw through both license plate into the wood there, and to be a nice tighter seal. Now also, before I put the top plate on, I went ahead and put in that little eye hook as well. So I'll do the same thing at the top. I'll line it up to the marks. I'll screw it in on the top, then I'll screw it in these holes, and then I will squeeze it really tight and drill through both of these. Now, if it's kind of difficult, and if you happen to have a clamp on hand, you could even tighten it with a clamp just to help it hold down nice and tight when you put those last 4 screws in where the overlap is. So I'll do all that next. All right, so check it out. That's how it turned out. Pretty cool. Really wasn't too hard of a project at all. The only tricky part was the last 4 screws where it went through both license plates into the wood. Took a little hammering and squeezing to get it in, but turned out really cool. And now that it's spring, I'm gonna take it outside and hopefully I'll have some new bird neighbors real soon.